with adults and alcohol usage. Again, that's completely a no. But nonetheless, that hasn't deterred people and slowed people down. So we've been on accidents as such. But again, it's unfamiliar with the equipment, and speed seem to be very contributing factors.
Over the past 2 decades, 50 people in North Dakota were killed by something that's supposed to be fun, riding an ATV. In those crashes, 19 of the dead were 16 or younger.
North Dakota law requires drivers to be at least 12 years of age, but a federal agency found that the age to be much lower. Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer takes a look at what can be done to ensure everyone drives safely while operating ATVs.
In the latest statistics that we've been able to find, 93,000 people have been injured in ATV accidents in the U.S. Over a quarter of those were children. So when is the right time to start driving an ATV?
You shouldn't put a child of any age on an ATV and say, go have fun, and you're not supervising and not with them.
Kerry Johnson teaches educational training courses. He is also passionate about riding, and he's not the only one.
So our office focuses heavily and feels very comfortable with that 12 years of age mark.
The laws are a little different in Minnesota. 10-year-olds are allowed to drive, but with adult supervision. State law says the ATV must also be size appropriate for the driver.
A lot of the accidents that have happened in the recent months, years, is the children or the child is on an ATV that's way too big for them.
Just because you are not living in the city doesn't mean anything goes.
Just because you either reside in a rural setting or you decide to take your off-highway vehicles out in a rural setting, they need to realize that the rules of the road apply out there just as they do within the city limits.
And he says training is crucial, not only for young drivers, but all drivers.
They have to be, even that informal training that they're receiving from, the responsible adult, just with regards to the equipment that they're riding, the location that they're at. And if they're novice to riding or they're not familiar with the location, that's not a time to send somebody out free to go roam.
Both Brigman and Johnson say that training, helmet use, and keeping track of your speed are tips all ATV drivers should follow. In Fargo, Melanie Palmer, Valley News Live.
Red River Riders, an ATV organization in Moorhead, offers an educational training course every spring to youth and young adults.
The weather is getting a little colder, which means it's hockey season. Find out how the Fargo Force are prepping for opening night later in sports.
But first, Fargo was greeted today by a rather large special guest.